AirPods Pro 3 or AirPods Pro 2? What's different? What's the same? Should I buy the new one or should I stick with the old one? Do I need to upgrade? Do I not? We're going to be answering all those questions in this video, so let's get right into it. Now, when it comes to design and comfort and fit, I'm going to give this to the AirPods Pro 3. Now, at first glance, they look nearly identical. I mean, they're still white, they're still made of plastic, and the earbuds look pretty much the same. But there are a few refinements to the AirPods Pro 3 that might make it easier to wear and feel more comfortable to users just during long listening sessions. For example, Apple actually shrank the bulb, which allows the earbuds to sit more comfortably in my ears during long listening sessions. And the new foam-infused ear tips do conform better to the shape of my ears, allowing for a more secure fit, but it doesn't guarantee a secure fit when I'm working out. I find that when I'm doing strength training or running, these intense workouts cause the earbuds to eventually slip out of my ears because the foam-infused ear tips are still using a slippery silicone exterior, and the earbuds themselves are also just made of glossy, slippery plastic. And speaking of ear tips, Apple now includes 5 different ear tip sizes in the box, as opposed to the 4 on the AirPods Pro 2, meaning that the AirPods Pro 3 does give you more options, or ear tip options, to increase your chances of getting a better fit for your ears. Now, on the other hand, the AirPods Pro 2, it still uses Apple's classic silicone ear tips, which don't conform as well as the foam-infused ear tips because it's not as compressive on the inside of the tip. So these just slip out of my ears unless I use like a third-party hook. Now, in terms of charging case, they both look pretty much the same, except the AirPods Pro 3 now uses a capacitive touch sensor on the front in lieu of the physical pairing button on the back of the AirPods Pro 2. It's a very minor change, and the touch sensor works fine, although because it's a touch sensor, I sometimes find myself questioning if my tap's actually registered. It doesn't compare to the physical feedback I get with a button, like with the AirPods Pro 2's pairing button. Now, if you're a gym rat or you like going on dusty hikes, then you'll be happy to know that the AirPods Pro 3 is also more durable. Both the earbuds and the case have an IP57 water and dust resistance rating. Now, because it's 7 at the end, which indicates water resistance level, the AirPods can now survive an accidental dunk in fresh water down to 1 meter for 30 minutes. So if you're somebody who's a bit clumsy or you just do a lot of sweaty workouts or a lot of dusty hikes, then the AirPods Pro 3 is going to be the obvious choice here. Other than those differences, these pretty much work the same. They still have the same force touch sensor that allows you to squeeze and swipe to control playback and volume. If you've used one pair of AirPods Pro, you've basically used them all. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of design, fit, and comfort, I am going to give this round to the AirPods Pro 3. Now, when it comes to features, both of these earbuds come packed with them, especially if you have an Apple device. Of course, the highlight features for both earbuds are the hearing aid features and the live translation features, which again, I go into full discussion on in my full review of the AirPods Pro 3. But the one feature that the AirPod Pro 3 has that the 2 doesn't is the heart rate sensor. You can now track your workouts using the heart rate sensor built into the earbuds, kind of like you can with the Beats Powerbeats Pro 2 and the Sennheiser Momentum Sport Wireless. You're able to track this in the fitness app on your phone, and it works pretty well in my experience for light jogs and brisk walks. But again, the performance of the heart rate sensor is going to depend entirely on your fit. So if you can't get a good fit on the AirPods Pro 3, then you're probably not going to get good data from the heart rate sensor, because as the earbuds start slipping out, the earbuds will lose contact with your skin and might not be reliable for some users. But if you're somebody who doesn't own an Apple Watch, or you don't want to buy a third-party fitness tracker and you need something to listen to music anyway, then the AirPods Pro 3 might be worth it for the heart rate sensor alone. Again, similar feature set. Apple Spatial Audio, personalized volume, hearing aid, live translation. The AirPods Pro 2, despite being older, still gets a lot of updates from Apple. So that's really great to see in terms of long-term use. But if we're talking about which gives you the most features and the most bang for buck from a feature standpoint, then it's the AirPods Pro 3. Now, when it comes to connection performance, basically the same. They both use Bluetooth 5.3, they both use the H2 chip for seamless processing and pairing with Apple devices. They both only support SBC and AAC codecs. No high-quality codecs here, which means no Spotify lossless for you, or Apple Music lossless. However, the one difference here is that the charging case of the AirPods Pro 3 uses the new U2 chip, which allows for more precise tracking when you're using Find My. So if you are somebody who's a little clumsy again, or just a little forgetful and you need to find your earbuds, then you will probably have an easier time tracking the charging case on the AirPods Pro 3 than the AirPods Pro 2. But that aside, honestly, very similar connection performance. I'm gonna give this a tie. Battery life. There's a pretty obvious winner here. That is the AirPods Pro 3. In our standardized battery test, the AirPods Pro 3 clocked in at 8 hours and 42 minutes, with ANC on, by the way, whereas the AirPods Pro 2 clocked in at 5 hours and 43 minutes. So that's about a 3-hour difference here. So if you're looking for a pair of earbuds for long flights, or you just need something for your daily commute that you won't have to charge as often, then yeah, AirPods Pro 3 is the winner again. In terms of microphone quality, both earbuds have really good sounding microphones, especially for a pair of true wireless earbuds. Now, I don't think you're going to be recording a hit song with the mics on either earbuds, but it's going to be more than good enough for a phone call or a Teams call. I will say though, I think the AirPods Pro 3 does do a better job in reproducing vocals. It does sound a little clearer coming through the AirPod Pro 3's microphone array versus the AirPods Pro 2. I don't think either microphone is broadcast quality, but if you do want the best microphone quality, then you're probably going to be going with the AirPods Pro 3. And if you'd like to know how each microphone sounds and how they compare, then make sure to check out our standardized microphone samples on SoundGuys.com. Alright, noise canceling. AirPods Pro 3. It wins. By a long shot. Now, as of recording this video, the AirPods Pro 3 offer the best ANC performance we have ever tested in a pair of earbuds so far. In our lab tests, the AirPods Pro 3 is able to reduce the loudness of outside noise by an average of 90%. In comparison, the AirPods Pro 2 is able to reduce the loudness of outside noise by an average of 83%. Now, 83% reduction in loudness from ANC is respectable, so the AirPods Pro 2 is still a good option in trying to quiet your daily commutes. But if you are looking for the best ANC performance out of your earbuds and you really need a quiet, loud environments, then yeah, AirPods Pro 3 is going to be the obvious choice here. Now, on top of that, Apple has also improved the transparency mode on the AirPods Pro 3, and I'm honestly really shocked with how well it works. Every time I turn it on, it feels like I don't have earbuds in my ears. I mean, physically I can feel them, but it sounds like I don't have any earbuds in my ears. So really good job to Apple for finessing that feature. All right, now for the most important section, sound quality. This part is a little complicated because Apple uses adaptive EQ, which means that the sound is adapted depending on your own ear anatomy. Now, speaking from my personal experience, having used both the AirPods Pro 2 and Pro 3 extensively, I found that the AirPods Pro 3 provided a little bit more bass output and a little bit better treble extension and more treble emphasis than the AirPods Pro 2. I also found that the AirPods Pro 3 provided a wider stereo image when listening to pretty much any song on my Spotify collection. And I also think that because of the improved treble extension and treble emphasis, I was able to hear details like reverb sounds more clearly, which helped create a better illusion of 3D space compared to the older AirPods Pro. Now, while I enjoyed the tuning of the AirPods Pro 3 overall, I did find bass output to just be a little louder than I'd prefer. I think the amount of bass I got from the AirPods Pro 3 was totally fine for like a 30-minute listening session, but I found it difficult to listen longer than that when I'm really just listening to bass-heavy music. Felt like I needed to take a break after like the 30-minute or 1 hour mark. It's not as bassy as something like, I don't know, the Sony Ultwear headphones or the Bose QC Ultra earbuds. I really wish Apple gave me a way to turn down the bass just a little bit. But unfortunately, you don't get an EQ with either earbuds, so you're kind of stuck with whatever Apple gives you, and you better like it. Now, looking at the frequency response measurements, it actually shows that the AirPods Pro 2 have a little bit more bass output than the AirPods Pro 3. However, you'll notice that there is a little bit of a dip between 1 to 200 hertz on the AirPods Pro 3, and this might make sub-bass sound a little louder than you might expect. And that honestly does track with my experience with the earbuds. At around 6 kilohertz, there's a bit of a treble overemphasis compared to our preference curve, and this doesn't sound too bad. Like, cymbals and hi-hats don't sound too shrill at this point, but this overemphasis does help accentuate sounds like reverb, which again may contribute to that better illusion of 3D space. But again, I just want to clarify that because Apple is using an adaptive EQ system, what you hear may not entirely match up with what you see on these charts. I personally enjoy the sound of the AirPods Pro 3 more than the AirPods Pro 2. Again, that's my opinion. If you want to find out for yourself if you're gonna like the 3 over the 2s, then again, I highly recommend you go to the Apple Store and ask an employee to help you demo those earbuds, because at the end of the day, you're gonna be the best judge for your ears. Now, I'm not gonna go around telling you, yeah, you have to upgrade to the AirPods Pro 3, like, right this instant. Both are really good earbuds, and Apple has clearly made some significant improvements for the AirPods Pro 3, but don't feel like you need to be in a rush to upgrade if you're already content with your AirPods Pro 2. If you're questioning an upgrade, walk into the Apple Store and just ask them nicely, hey, can I try out the AirPods Pro 3? They'll be happy to help. Now, if you want to learn a lot more about the AirPods Pro 3, then check out my deep dive on these new earbuds in my review video right here.